It's time for another On the Spot.
On the Spot.
With such an amazing career in IMSA and NASCAR, why didn't you ever drive in IndyCar races? Has the IMSA series always been your passion?
That's a good question. IMSA has always been a passion, and it's really how I was introduced to the sport when I was, I guess, about 13 years old, and because that's what my dad first got involved in. But pretty early on, I was focused on trying to get to Indy cars, and I did open wheel cars at first because before I was old enough to drive the sports cars. My size eventually became a problem. I think I was really about to break in with Chevrolet when I had my big accident, and I broke my legs and was set back for a while, and then that kind of killed my momentum. After my accident, then I did nothing but sports cars, and I finally settled into where I was actually, they say things happen for a reason, and so that's part of why I had such an amazing career, because it continued back into the Trans Am series where I had such a great run at the end that's kind of what I'm known for.
At any point in your career, did you ever get close to actually driving the Indy 500? Is it something you might ever consider doing?
I would say it's safe to say that door is closed now, but I never got close. I did test an IndyCar on 2 occasions. One time was right before my accident. It was arranged by Chevrolet. I drove the car that Bobby Rahal was driving at the time before he retired, and he had just won the championship, I think, the year before or a couple years before. So never got terribly close. I did race at Indy in the IROC race, though. In conjunction with the Brickyard 400. They had an IROC race where, like 3 or 4 NASCAR guys, 3 or 4 IndyCar guys, 3 or 4 sports car guys, and they put you in identical cars and you raced at 4 tracks. And so I got to race at the Brickyard the first year they did that.
What was it like to race alongside Paul Newman? Is there anything you learned from him on or off the track during your Daytona Rolex 24 win in 95?
Good questions. To basically be paired with one of the biggest movie stars of all time. In his era, he was Bradley Cooper, or who's your favorite young actor?
Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth. So along the lines of kind of all of them rolled into one. He had these eyes, these blue eyes that were like, even when he was 70 years old, he had quite the effect on the ladies.
That's me, Jack Harvey.
Jack Harvey?
Jack Harvey. He's like these beautiful blue eyes. Crazy.
That's all you see? That's all you see is when he turns the blue eyes on you? Okay, Jack Harvey.
He's like a nerd, so it's like even
oh
better.
My.
I saw you're a Harry Potter fan.
Yeah.
What house are you in? I'm a Hufflepuff.
I'm a Ravenclaw.
A Ravenclaw, wow.
You're shocked by that?
I'm not... I thought you'd be like
What's wrong with
Gryffindor.
Ravenclaw?
Nothing. There's nothing wrong with them.
You sound like there's a problem with them.
No. My best friend's like Ravenclaw.
Well, I mean, that's good.
Well, like Jack Harvey. Tell Jack Harvey that he's like Paul Newman. To be paired with someone like that, it was a unique experience to be surrounded by someone like I'm in the IMSA paddock area. I'm kind of well known. If I walk out into everyday life, nobody knows who I am. I occasionally get my voice. Actually, people say I recognize your voice sometime, but it's once a week kind of thing. With him, everywhere he went, you'd be driving in a car with him, and you're stopped at a stoplight for 20 seconds and there's people waving and so forth. It was just a level of fame that I had never been around before. I became really good friends with him. I knew him beforehand, but I became really good friends and spent time. He kind of, I guess part of it's just being older and wiser. People speak in wisdom. He'd say things and I wouldn't really understand what he'd mean by it. And he wouldn't explain it. Like, I remember someone said, "What do you love most about racing?" And he says, "I love the grace of it." I'm like, what does that mean? Now I think what he meant was a really good driver that's really in tune. You literally can make the car almost dance. And so there's a gracefulness to that. A poor driver is really choppy and so forth. And so that was one example. Another one, he gave me some advice, personal advice. And it wasn't directed at me, but he shared a personal story with himself where he said that he and his wife, Joanne Woodward, they were married for a long, long time, and I had never heard that they were separated, but apparently when they were young, they were separated. And he said he was working on a movie lot, and she was doing a movie on the same lot, and he saw her across the parking lot, and he said to himself, "Are you really going to let her walk out of your life?" And he didn't say he was saying it to me, but he was, I think, saying, you ought to ask yourself, are you really going to, because he knew Caroline as well. My wife and I got back together, and we've been together since. So there's a great example of something that he was sending a message in his sort of, it was almost like delivering a movie line in both of those cases. And you had to kind of think about what it meant.
What was the impact on IMSA of people like Newman, James Garner, or Steve McQueen? Think we'll ever see that again? People who take their racing just as serious as their acting?
You know, we saw it recently with Patrick Dempsey, for sure. He, when he got into racing, he was the biggest star on TV with Grey's Anatomy. And he, unlike, you see a lot of celebrities, the ability to do a celeb race, and they're like, oh, wow, this is fun. And it is fun, and it is, but they're not that into it. Whereas Patrick Dempsey, as a kid, idolized racers, and then his career took him and he had success in acting, which is what led him. Paul Newman's success in acting is what allowed him the opportunities. He wasn't exposed to it until he did that movie with James Garner. Will we see it again? I suspect we will. There's an actor named Sean Patrick Flannery. He's kind of an indie actor. He's well known. He's kind of a cult movie hero with Boondock Saints.
Oh, Norman Reedus?
Yeah.
Yeah, you might
Norman Reedus. So that movie, Boondock Saints, Sean Patrick Flannery is the other main actor in the movies. And he grew up idolizing racing. And so he got to do the pro celebrity race at Long Beach. And he's like seriously fast. And did some shifter kart racing, like legit skilled guy. Everyone wants to be a rock star. Rock stars want to be movie stars. Movie stars want to be race car drivers. Not all of them, but there are some of them. I think the actual life of making movies, it's challenging and it's a craft, but it's not very interesting. But even a car chase in the movies is done literally a corner at a time. And so this one little 3-second or 7-second thing will take a day to film. So they're not really doing this cool chase with this blowing up and this car flipping and this, that. They're doing each little piece at a time. Whereas when they get in a race, it's really a race. It's really dicing with this guy. That guy cut you off. Oh my God, I locked the brake. Oh, he spit out. This guy crashed. So, I mean, it's like movies look like they are, is what they really are. I think that's part of the appeal. I don't think the appeal of racing will ever disappear, and you'll have someone that is exposed to it. It's like mind will be blown. They're like, I want to do that, and I'm going to take my celebrity over here to do more of that. So, and some of them will dabble, and a few will be super serious. The celeb race ended a couple years ago because Toyota moved their headquarters from LA to Texas, and then they just ended their title sponsorship of the event after last year's race, and now it's Honda. So, whether Honda, well,
I'll watch a celebrity race.
They're fun. Celebs are, bigger than they've ever been, and there's new kinds of celebrities. I think if I was running the celeb race, I would have, esports people. I would have influencers. I would have bloggers. I think, they're celebrities in their own right now, legitimately.
YouTube celebrities.
YouTube. I would 100% do YouTube celebrities. Now they would have to have their driver's license because you can't. Unfortunately, certain laws still apply, so you can't say, oh, now you can do a go-kart. You can do a go-kart one. Maybe there's an idea.
Get all the kid YouTubers out there to go do a go-kart race, maybe.
That's a great idea. I had not thought of that angle before, so
let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
It's a go-kart kids YouTube race.
Hey, you're an entrepreneur, an idea person. Now, Roger Penske, you need to pitch him on some of your ideas.
I was actually supposed to talk to him today, but I can't.
I know. Speaking of the celebrity race, I raced with Danica Patrick in the pro celebrity race at Long Beach in 2002, and we had a bet going, and I lost, and so I proposed the bet, and so the payoff was I had to be led on a leash through the IndyCar pit lane on race morning. It happened in 2002.
Oh. Now, your car, your die-cast car, is a collector's item, and it's over $200. We were going to get you to sign it, but
which
that's
one was
really
this?
Expensive.
Was it the All-Sport car?
Yep, the All-Sport die-cast car.
Okay.
It's $200.
$200.
What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I'm an economics major, and so I believe that for the most part, markets are efficient. And what determines price is supply and demand. Now, I feel for someone that really wants one and can't come up with $200. But I also like it that people want it enough that they're $200. There's actually one, a GMP one, that's more than that. I paid, that one is really rare, and I didn't even get one when it came out. And so I bought one on eBay. I think that one's more than that. I think that one's up to $400, $500, $600. So now I will tell you, for whatever reason, I guess it's because I did have a pretty good run. One of my race cars just sold for a record of that era Trans Am car. One of my All Sport Mustangs. There's only 3 real All Sport Mustangs, and this one wasn't even the winningest one, but it was a championship car. Just sold at an auction last summer for $720,000. So I was hoping to buy. It was painted another way, and so I was hoping no one knew what it was, and it would have been worth way less. And so I had 2 wishes. I said, if no one shows up, I hope I can buy this for way less than it's worth. But if I can't afford it, I want it to bring a record so that it's, says your cars are worth more than anybody else's. I like the interview though. This is covering some ground.
There's actually only one more question left.
Is there? I'm actually going to be late for my next appearance. I forgot about it. I'm having fun. So go ahead.
What was it like for you to go from a race car driver to a regular retired road driver? When was the last time you actually got to turn laps in any class of IMSA car?
Last time I got to turn laps was it was Petit Le Mans in 2013. That was my last race in the Factory Viper. And I was retired for a good 15 years in between, because the all-sport car, I stopped. The serious part of my career ended in 97. I got coaxed out of retirement to drive that car. Going back to regular driving, I've mellowed out considerably. When I'm late, I can call on it and I get, but generally speaking, I've gotten a lot more mellow. As a driver, you're just so hyper aware of things, and you're so used to looking for little signs. Like, I can tell when someone's, just from the language of the way the car's moving and the way the traffic pattern. I'm rarely surprised by, certain on-ramps. People just come on and they always get all the way to the left. Certain on-ramps, they don't do that. So there's sort of patterns that you learn to recognize, and that's helpful in being a street driver. You're used to looking for stuff coming out of here, or picking up little teeny bits of information, and everybody else is like, oh my gosh, I'm startled by that. And you're like, I saw that unfolding for 3 seconds. So it's useful to be a former driver. So I've mellowed out a good bit.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. That was fun.